Hello. What the hell? Welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. Shit's going crazy over here. What? Oh boy. Okay. That was too many cards. Things are going crazy over here. So, I don't even think, have I even said anything yet? This is the reading for Pisces, wherever Pisces shows up in your chart. Also be sure to check out your human design profile reading. Because not every Pisces is a 5-1 or 2-4 or whatever, right? So just an additional source of information. If you don't know your human design profile, I'll put a link in the description below for you to get your body graph, and on there with a bunch of other information specifically about your design, you'll find your profile. So if we can get it together over here, that's also too many cards. Let's get you an oracle card. We'll get your tarot out and we'll be on our way. Too many? Also too many? Can we just get one? Pisces is like, no, I want at least two. I need options. Which is so effing funny because this was one of the cards that came out with like one or two other cards. And then as soon as I said it out loud, I remembered this mirrors card. And here it is. Speaking of needing two things, interesting, reflecting, in whatever capacity that is too, because I mean, we could be reflecting negative shit to people too. If that's, we have the Judgment card, we have the Devil card. Pisces is like, I'm going to take you on a ride. Great. We have the 8 of Pentacles, Temperance with the Judgment card, the Ace of Wands with the Devil card, okay, and the Queen of Wands right next to the Ace of Wands. We have the 9 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, 9 of Wands behind it, 7 of Cups, 6 of Wands, 10 of Cups. What in the sweet name? What's going on in Pisces right now? Saturn is in Pisces. So if you're a Pisces rising, yeah, I wonder how that's been for you. Just, who am I, right? Like Saturn could be kind of, I was almost going to say, I was going to do this motion, but then I heard in my head, like stretching you out, seeing how far you can go. I don't know. I'd love to hear your experience. So, I mean, if you're a Pisces sun, then, at some point, if it hasn't happened already, Saturn is going to be conjunct your sun at some point. So even just illuminating, Saturn talks about limitations. It also has this like connection to time. Let's see what this card has to say. Life mirrors us back to ourselves. Encounters in the outer world tell us about our inner world. If we keep experiencing conflicts with others, we may find we're projecting our internal struggles outward. By paying attention to what's happening in our lives, we can see where we need healing or where we can grow. Things will happen that are beyond our control, but it's how we respond that reveals our inner workings. As we move forward, remember to reflect. What's going on in your life at the moment? Can you trace that back to what's happening internally? We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. let me see. Hold please. Interesting because, I mean, we have the Devil card out here, which is Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Is there anything else going on in Pisces? Neptune. I forgot about Neptune. Neptune is at like the later degrees of Pisces too. And I think Neptune's been there for quite a while too. Anyway, let's just get into your reading. Literally, I just kind of found myself like literally just sitting here like daydreaming in a sense. Like I just kind of got, like I really just kind of lost track of time, which is also just even kind of interesting because of the Saturn element. And like I said, it does talk about time. But we start with the Judgment card. This is the card that comes before the World card. So it's interesting because, you know, I mean, the World card is the end of a cycle. It's like the end of this journey that the Fool has been on. And each one of us are the Fool, right? Depending on wherever we are in our lives. And the Judgment card is when we reflect. We look back at the journey that we've been on. We realize in what ways that journey has impacted us, in which ways that journey has changed us, right? And it really is this opportunity to make a decision. I know Pisces love making decisions. Common sense, discernment, higher self, spiritual awakening. It says, a deafening crack of thunder and an explosive burst of lightning calls judgment forward. The Fool has entered into a spiritual awakening and is evolving into a new self. As the penultimate card in the major arcana, judgment requires you to use your acquired knowledge and your experience to move forward. Yeah. Right? It's like all those things that you picked up along the way. And now it's like, you know, what do I want to do with that going forward? How has it changed me? Right? And like what I want out of life, what my goals are. With it, we have Temperance. I haven't even seen Temperance come out yet. Why is flap my wing over here? This is a card of Jupiter. Judgment is associated to Scorpio, which is Mars. Mars is in Aries right now, which of course is right after Pisces, right? We just had that Mars-Saturn conjunction last month, so you might have felt something in whatever sector of your chart Pisces rules. Now we're moving on to Jupiter, which is expansion, luck, goals. So with this Judgment card, even as much as I've been talking about Saturn, you know, there could be just something where, you know, you are getting very clear in your goals. You know, I mean, even seeing a path forward, plotting, planning, that type of thing. Judgment, like I said, it's Jupiter, it's Sagittarius. This is the blending of energies. It's usually water and fire, so it talks about alchemy. But also there's this need for patience while things are blending, while they're figuring things out. You know, I mean, you can even think of Elemental, that movie. All my movie references are cartoons. But, you know, like just the fire, the passion, the, you know, explosive energy of that element mixed with the emotional, sensitive, you know, compassionate element of water, blending those two things. And in the book, it says balance, centering, mixing together, even temperament. The angel of temperance balances energy between two golden vessels. When temperance shows up, it asks us to have a calm and even temperament when approaching something new. Patience is key, and the angel of temperance suggests that now is not the time for outlandish or risky behavior. Right. My nose just started going crazies. But, like this kind of seems like outlandish or crazy. And temperance is like, okay, cool it. It could even really be like waiting for the full picture to become clear, especially with this mirror card, because if you are like mirroring back to yourself stress or even limitation, because like I said, Saturn for whatever reason keeps coming up, so maybe there's something in there though, but it's like you're mirroring back the anxiety. And too, even with temperance, like I said, it's the balance between the fire and the water element, right? Like your water. Fire represents passion. I think I've already said it, right? Passion, our creativity, going and getting, it's, life experience, trying things. And then we have the Devil card, who is Capricorn. Like I said, it's Saturn, because Capricorn is traditionally ruled by Saturn. And the Devil card talks about the things that hold us back, our limitations, right? But it usually comes from ego somewhere. It usually comes from fear, anxiety, like something is controlling that, which, it could even just be past experience. It could be shame. It could be, the fear of success, the fear of failure. But in this card, this is talking about, coming up to this devil. Like the Fool is coming up to this Devil card. And it's almost like this rite of passage thing. Like, are you going to allow those things to continue to control you, to continue to stop you? Even because this devil, it almost kind of looks like it would be standing in your way, right? So there's this opportunity here to release that, to recognize where maybe you are self-sabotaging or keeping yourself small, not allowing yourself to be seen, not, going for that promotion or switching jobs or something along those lines, right? Or even just obsessive thoughts. You could be, the Devil card also talks about addiction. And that is literally, the spectrum of addiction is pretty, reaching. It's, an addiction to distraction and numbing yourself, not wanting to deal. It could be, of course, a substance. It could be spending money. It could be all those things that it like prevents you from connecting to yourself, to connecting with other people. Because I heard this, I don't know, it might have been in the Russell Brand had a book about recovery where he like rewrote the 12 steps with a bunch of F words in it. So of course I listened to it. And it was good. And I listened to it like before I stopped listening to Russell Brand altogether, because I think he kind of went off the deep end. But he was, I believe it was him that was saying, and maybe it was just some regurgitation of something he heard along the way, because it is about the 12 steps, if I didn't already say that. But he said the opposite of addiction is connection. And, addiction does put up this barrier or limit our capacity to connect with ourselves and other people. So again, I know for him, he was talking about like a substance or chemical, type of addiction, but really, I think any addiction can really fall in there. And like I said, it could just be numbing. It could just be even self-sabotage can be an addiction, because it's like not allowing yourself to go past a certain point, because maybe your nervous system is conditioned to a certain level of personal shame, disappointment. So again, right, there is this opportunity to get past this devil. And it might even be something that you have to fight. Not necessarily like physically. I don't think that there's going to be a physical manifestation of the quote unquote devil, but it's literally fighting against your own ego. And I say that because we have the Ace of Wands underneath the devil card. So right on the other side of this devil card, once you get past it, is the Ace of Wands. And it almost, like his little staff there, whatever it is, it does look a little like the Ace of Wands. It's almost like, putting your own spin on it, dressing it up a little bit. But to me, like when I was kind of like transitioning into talking about the Ace of Wands, it really did feel like really like fighting for this staff. Obviously, like I said, I mean metaphorically. It's like taking your control back, taking your power back, and that's what the Ace of Wands is. Finding your power again, finding that like zest for life, because aces are new. Wands, like I said, are fire. I don't know if I actually did say that, but wands are fire. And it represents the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. How are we communicating those things? What steps, I was going to say, are we taking towards those things? I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things, right? We figure out what works, what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? What stays, what goes? And truly the only way to discover that is by trying. You know how many like hobbies I picked up and bought a ton of shit for, thinking I would love it, and I hated it. I was like, no, absolutely not. I can't do this more than one time. So there's no thinking your way through is what I'm saying. So this is definitely, something new. Like, again, finding something to pour your creativity and your passion into. This could even just be that zest for life showing back up in you, because you went up against the devil and you won. You got the wand, and then you put your own spin on it. That feels also very Beauty and the Beast with the rose in there. And even with that, right? Because that rose is tracking time, isn't it? So it's very interesting, this like the Saturn thing. And even too, like this could even just be a process that you've been on for a while. You've been spending some time, and especially even with the Temperance card, because that also represents time and allowing things to come together. And especially too, even with the Eight of Pentacles, this talks about focusing your time, your attention, your resources on a thing in order to master it. It's like work, basically. But it can, of course, be like working on yourself. It could be, of course, your career. It could be, like building a career. But this card in the book talks about because it's pentacles are stones in this deck, and it talks about how, the accumulation of stones created these islands, which then started, supporting themselves with life. And then, the waterfalls were produced. I mean, you could be creating your own islands in some capacity. It could even be that you need to look at your own islands. Like, where are you? I don't know where to put, sorry. Where are you, like, even isolating yourself? I remember like years and years ago, a psychologist talking about islands in the sense of, we put experiences in compartments, and then, that creates an island, right? And even having all this water around it too, that's giving me very Pisces energy with the water, even though this is earth. Pentacles also, it's about our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our physical time. How are we spending our physical time? Where are we physically showing up in our lives? It's our health. Anything that we place value and worth on, it's our possessions. So again, with the Eight of Pentacles, it's working towards a goal. It's also knowing that you have to practice. You have to show up, whether that be for yourself, whether that be for some aspect in your life, whether it be for work, if you wanted to build a career, right? You have to show up, and you have to practice it, and you have to, put resources into the thing in order to master it, to get to a level of like authority, basically. And then we have the Queen of Wands. So I love that right next to the Ace of Wands, we have the Queen of Wands. So there's this progression from, finding that ace to really embodying the energy of wands, which for me, that's what queens are. When we embody the energy of the suit within ourselves, we recognize it within ourselves, we master it within ourselves. So there's a confidence element that comes with the Queen of Wands. Literally dancing to the beat of her own drum or his own drum. There's this element even of like play too, having a good time. Like even just feeling the warmth swirl around you. Because, I'm thinking of fire. It could even be in the way that you express yourself. Taking yourself more seriously. Even taking your goals more seriously. And then we have the Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And nines are individual completion. The Nine of Swords is like anxiety, fear, doubt. All of this in the Devil card. And it's like, it could be overwhelming is how that feels. Anxiety, depression, chaotic thoughts, disruption. Consumed by his own self-imprisonment, the Sun lets in chaotic thoughts. Anxieties and fears flood his being. He begins to question his purpose, his existence, his worth. He is alone, and the burden of carrying the sky all day and night is far too much to bear. Yeah, like that is literally the Devil card. And like I was saying, I think with the Devil card, ego. Because I see swords as being the suit of ego also. It does occupy, swords do occupy our mind. It's logic. I swear my nose is just going insane through your reading. I apologize. It is our mind. It's our thoughts, beliefs, ideas. It's also divine truth and honesty, which is objective truth. What you can prove, right? And like I said, I do believe that swords have to do with ego, because ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, to feelings, circumstances, and it becomes the reason why we do things and why we don't do things, right? Like we take in information from our lives, whatever's going on. It goes through the filter of our ego, and then it kicks out some perspective of reality based on whatever our stories are. So it can be changed. It can be healed. It can be deconstructed, totally taken apart, even, like laying all the parts out and being like, what are you? Are you true or not? Make the decision. If it's true, it stays. If it's not true, it goes. Move on to the next one. What are you? What's your story? Is that true or not? And just keep going. It takes time, but it's worth it. Like I said, though, nines are individual completion. So there is this level of completion here that is happening, because I do feel like you win against the Devil card, because clearly we have the Ace of Wands right behind it. There is this energy to work on yourself, find confidence, take yourself more seriously, even taking your passions more seriously. Not to say that you're not, that's just, the energy that's coming through. Don't allow your head to get in the way. We have the Nine of Wands after that. Like I said, we have two nines. The Nine of Wands, this to me is like my Forged in Fire card, because I mean, they're literally constructing those wands there, right? And I think I said it. Yeah, I did say it with the Ace of Wands, right? About how, trying things is really the only way to gain experience. Well, that experience turns to wisdom, which turns to skill. So, this person can knock out these nine wands and they're all exactly the same. That takes practice. That takes trying. That takes mastering a skill. This is also the card of getting your ass kicked by life. It's the Wounded Warrior card, right? It's like, man, I've been through a lot, and I'm tired. But just as much as a nine is individual completion, it is saying that you are right on the precipice. You're like right there. You're still in the middle of making this last wand though. So don't stop. Don't, don't leave ends loose. Just keep going. We have the Seven of Cups. Options. It's interesting too that, they're climbing up this, like the side of this little mountain here, which could be on this island. Cups have to do with our emotions. It's like feeling good about, or even, it's not even necessarily feeling good about the options presented to you, but it is like going through different scenarios, different possibilities, and seeing what does feel good, especially with it being water, right? Like really feeling into your emotional, your intuition, and what feels right for you. We have the Six of Wands, which is victory and success. This feels like literally the torch is being passed on. And then we have the Ten of Cups, which is like the minor arcana card to the Sun card. This Seven of Cups, they have those seven cups on their back. They're searching for water. The Ten of Cups finds it in abundance. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.